Is Amelia Thompson, and I'm with Deloitte. I'm a first year apprentice in risk advisory. Within risk advisory, I'm in cyber, which is why I'm here. And within that, I'm in incident response.
It's really lovely to meet you, and thank you for agreeing to doing this interview today. So without further ado, I want to get to know a little bit more about you. So can you tell me what a typical working day is, please?
Yep, so I work for Deloitte, and I get to work in cyber incident response, which is really exciting for me. We get to do both technical and advisory work, and for me, the advisory work tends to include more research, where I get to produce scenarios for things like wargaming exercises. And as I'm an apprentice on the technical side, responding to incidents, I don't yet have the skills to do the investigation side. I do hope to start working on that soon. But I get to work on things such as the respond and recover work streams, and after that has progressed on things like stabilise and secure.
So is any sort of 2 days the same, or is it the constant change?
Definitely not. Everything is different. It really depends on who we're working for, what the sort of issues are, what the projects we're working on. Yeah, it's just very exciting.
And what is the best part of your job? Which bit do you like the most?
I really love learning, and I think it's great that I'm learning something new, at least one new thing every single day, from other people on the team, from doing the research for projects I'm working on, talking to different clients, all things like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a big subject, so there's definitely lots that, and I think even sort of 15 years into it, I'm continually learning. So yeah, if you love learning, it's definitely the right industry to be in. So what made you get into cybersecurity? Was it something that you actually thought you'd do when you were younger, when you were at school?
No, so I was quite lucky in that I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do, but I really enjoyed computer science, so chose it at both GCSE and A level. And I just enjoyed what we were learning about. I had a teacher that made it really fun, and he suggested actually that I do a summer school, because he knows I like to be involved in things, like to be doing things, don't like sitting doing nothing. And it was the NCSC Cyber First Summer School, and I went to one before A levels, and I went to another one during A levels. And I still had no idea what I wanted to do. I just knew that I didn't want to go to university. So I was looking for apprenticeships, and I thought, I've enjoyed cybersecurity, let's have a look.
That's fantastic. So no regrets in making that choice. You don't think now you wish you'd have made that call?
Nope, none whatsoever.
Okay, so you mentioned there a teacher that seemed a little bit inspirational to you, but are there any other sort of inspirational role models in the industry that you look up to?
Yeah, so I definitely take my role models a lot more from the people around me that I'm working with, or that talking to us, and I really feel like role models, yes, it's great to have people sort of in the industry that are doing things, pioneering new things, but I think the people that really make the impact are the people that genuinely care, and you can see they're not just about the bottom line. It's the people that are invested in your development.
I completely echo that, and I think that's one thing that I love about this industry. There is a lot of people with passion, and it's addictive. It's one of those elements that really makes you think, actually, I really like this job. I think and I wonder whether part of that is deep down is because we actually know that we're doing something fundamentally really good. We're trying to protect individuals, people's, and the UK as a whole. And I think that's part of us that makes me feel that we're making a bit of a difference about that, which is why I think it's also an industry that sort of is quite fitting to females, because we have that natural caring ability as well. So yeah, I definitely think that for all those reasons. So any advice for anybody looking to get into cybersecurity that you would give anybody?
Yeah, so definitely have a look at all of the sort of different areas covered under sort of the umbrella term of cyber, because when I joined Deloitte, I had no idea that cyber was more than just cybersecurity. That was the sort of aspect I'd come in from thinking about cybersecurity. And so just find an area you're interested in, whether that be industrial tech or the cloud or incident response. Just find some resources online and get a deeper understanding of what goes into all of that. And one of the things we're always talking about, particularly at Deloitte, but I assume it's the same throughout the industry, is the different risks. So risks to the clients, different vulnerabilities, new strains of ransomware, all that kind of stuff that I find really interesting. I just have a read about it.
So where are you hoping that your apprenticeship will take you next? What areas, you mentioned there's certain areas that you want to focus on. Is there any in particular? Where do you see your career going long term?
So at the minute I'm really enjoying incident response, and I'd love to take that as far as I can and develop more skills on the technical side. So of course, doing A-levels in computer science, I can do things like programming, but on the investigation side in incident response, there's so much new stuff that I've never heard of, and there's not many people that join incident response with a background in technical investigations. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some different qualifications in that area.
That's great. So you mentioned on there sort of people that are giving you information. Are there any resources that you sort of have gone to to help you gain your cybersecurity knowledge?
So one of my biggest things is I love reading, so lots of different books, but I find a great way of keeping up with sort of the newest information and trends is Twitter. So a few people, I've noted down a few people that I particularly find it great to follow, people like Patrick Gray, who also hosts the Risky Business podcast, Kim Zetta, who was the author of Countdown to Zero Day, and is a cybersecurity journalist, and then Kathleen Simpaniu, I don't know, I always read that, and Brian Krebs are all a great place to get started.
Really great mentions. Yeah, completely agree with you. I think there's some great nuggets that come out of it as well. Anything in particular about their style that you like, or is there anything that stands out of anything that they've posted recently?
So for me, I just love skimming through it and finding where they post the different resources, looking at, so for example, Kim's book, I read recently the Countdown to Zero Day one about Stuxnet, some about the Russian strains of ransomware, different books. I can't actually remember any of the names, they're just on the spot, sorry.
No, it's okay. We said if you've got a list of them that you want to recommend, we can put it with the notes afterwards. So yeah, I won't put you on the spot. I'm terrible with remembering things on the fly as well. So from your point of view and what you're doing now, what do you think is your superpower or your personal strength that's going to really help you with your career in cybersecurity?
So one of my things is that I've always been super organized, and I used to think it could be a little bit of a weakness where I'd be trying to take too much time to do one particular thing because I was trying to do it in different ways and keep it all the same. But it's really come in handy recently, working on my most recent project, where we were doing something where we're sort of receiving different designs and evaluating them, and it was my job to sort of keep track of where they were being stored and send out summaries. And just for my own understanding and sort of sanity, I was keeping a tracker of what was coming through with the different information and sort of their status and what was going on. And then it got to about 2 months into the project, and my manager said, right, all of these sort of 150 designs that have come through, we'd really like to create a tracker, so I'd like you to go back through, read all the documents and get all of this. And I just piped up and went, you're gonna laugh, but I've already done it, just for me. Like, it was just stored in my own personal place, it wasn't anything to do with it. So yeah, just sort of accidentally being super organized.
No, it's great. And I think there's this misconception, there's certain sort of elements of for cybersecurity, you need to be sort of really technical and need to do this, need to do that. But I think things have been sort of really analytical, really organized, especially when it comes to sort of investigations. And you'll find that is part of that is how, you know, detailed you can be. So going into that is absolute, yeah, imperative. From the teams that you work with then, so, you know, are they consistently all the same, or have you got a diverse team there at Deloitte? What's the makeup of the team, and what characteristics about them makes them stand out and makes it a good team?
So within my sort of the incident response team, there's about 35 of us now, I think. But within incident response, we work on so many different projects all at once that there are different people coming in from all over the company to sort of bring their own expertise. And this project I just mentioned that I'm currently working on, it started off in the first week as 6 of us. And it's now grown to the scale of there's over 250 people from all different backgrounds with all different specialties. We've got cloud specialists, industrial specialists, we've got consultants that don't even work in tech, all that sort of stuff. That it's really interesting just to be able to learn from people, just having a chat with them.
And do you feel, in terms of diversity, do you feel a little bit of an odd one out being a female in cybersecurity, or how do you think that is now and how it's changing, and does it make you feel, I guess, any different?
So it's definitely still noticeable that on the technical side there are fewer females sort of working, but the push is definitely more education. We're getting more people in there, and it's inspiring to see people keep sort of posting on LinkedIn and in our group chats and things that people are progressing, they are sort of diversifying into all these different roles, and it's definitely improving.
Lovely, that's brilliant, Amelia. It's been absolutely beautiful talking to you. You know, great personality, and I can see that, you know, from an industry point of view, you're a real asset to the industry. So it's been really, really great. So thank you. So, you know, continue the great work, and hopefully our paths will cross again in the near future.